What if I told you the secret to a clearer, less puffy, maybe even younger looking face wasn't in some expensive cream or serum, but in your bread basket? Yeah, you heard me right. Let's dive in and see what happens when you stop eating bread for just 14 days.
You know that feeling, right? You wake up, you look in the mirror, and your face just feels off. Kind of puffy, a little dull. Maybe there's a new breakout that decided to show up overnight. It's so frustrating. And you probably blame everything, like, did I not get enough sleep, or is it this new face wash?
But what if the culprit is hiding in plain sight? Something you probably eat every single day without even thinking about it. Yep, we're talking about your daily sandwich, your morning toast. We're talking about bread. All right, so here's what we're going to cover. First, the basic connection between bread and your face. Then, the good stuff, the great depuffing, calming down oil and acne, and fighting something called sugar sag. And finally, we'll look at what you can expect after 14 days.
Okay, so what is it about bread that can mess with our skin so much? And look, it's not really about calories, and for most of us, it isn't even about gluten. The real story, the real science, starts with how our bodies actually process the stuff.
Okay, so it all comes down to something called the glycemic index. Think about it like this. Refined bread, the fluffy white stuff, bagels, pastries, it hits your system like a shot of pure sugar. It causes this massive, rapid spike in your blood sugar. And your body, to deal with this emergency, just floods your system with the hormone insulin. Now, whole foods, on the other hand, they're like a slow burn fuel. They release energy gradually, keeping everything nice and stable. It's this hormonal roller coaster from refined bread that's the real villain here. All right, let's get into the first big change you're probably going to see, and it's a dramatic one, the depuffing. This can happen really fast, and just to be clear, we're not talking about losing fat here. We're talking about losing water weight, right from your face. So, to get why this happens, we have to talk about a little molecule called glycogen. See, when you eat carbs, your body turns them into sugar, or glucose, for energy right now. But any extra glucose that you don't use immediately gets packed away for later. And that storage form is called glycogen. It's basically your body's backup energy tank, stored in your muscles and liver. And here is the absolute key. Glycogen is like a sponge for water. Check this out. For every 1 gram of glycogen your body stores, it holds onto up to 4 grams of water with it. That's huge. So if you're eating bread every day, your glycogen tanks are always full, which means you're also carrying around a whole lot of extra water weight. So what happens the minute you stop eating all that bread? Well, a really cool chain reaction kicks off. First, without all those carbs coming in, your insulin levels just plummet. That drop in insulin sends a message straight to your kidneys. It's like, hey, you can let go of all that extra sodium you've been holding onto. And you know what follows sodium out of the body? Water. At the exact same time, your body starts tapping into those glycogen stores for fuel. And boom, all that water it was holding onto gets released too. So let's just boil it down. High insulin from eating bread basically tells your body to hang on to salt and water. The result? A puffy, kind of undefined face. But when you take that bread out of the equation, your insulin drops and it triggers this natural flushing effect. There's a fancy science term for it, but all you need to know is your body starts releasing all that stored water in sodium. It's why people can drop a few pounds of pure water weight in just the first couple of days, and you really see it in your face. Okay, so you're looking less puffy, more defined. Awesome. What's next? Well, for a lot of people, the next thing they notice is their skin getting less oily and calmer, fewer breakouts. And yep, you guessed it, this all comes back to that same hormonal chain reaction. So let's literally connect the dots from a slice of bread to a breakout. Step 1, you eat the bread. Step 2, blood sugar spikes. Step 3, insulin rushes in. Now that huge insulin surge amps up another hormone called IGF-1, and you can think of IGF-1 as the gas pedal for your oil glands. It tells them to go into overdrive, pumping out way too much oil. That excess oil clogs your pores and, well, you know the rest. It's the perfect recipe for inflammation and acne. But the really cool thing is, you can break this vicious cycle. By taking away that initial trigger, the bread, you stop the whole domino effect. Your insulin and IGF-1 levels stabilize. Your oil glands finally get the signal to just chill out. It does take a little time, but typically by around day 10 or so, a lot of people notice their skin is way less inflamed, and they're just not getting those angry new breakouts. Okay, we've covered the quick wins. Less puffiness, clearer skin. That's great. But there's an even bigger, longer-term benefit to this. Cutting back on refined carbs helps protect your skin from a type of damage that actually speeds up how fast you age. And this one's a big deal. This process is called glycation. It sounds complicated, but it's pretty simple. When you have too much sugar in your blood, like after you eat a bagel, those sugar molecules start sticking to things they shouldn't. And in your skin, their favorite things to stick to are your collagen and elastin, the good stuff that keeps your skin firm and youthful. When sugar attaches to these proteins, it creates these nasty, harmful compounds they're called AGEs, which is pretty fitting.
I love this analogy from the research. It says these AGEs act like sticky caramel that hardens your collagen. So that flexible, springy network in your skin becomes stiff, brittle, and weak. That strong support system that holds everything up literally starts to break down.
And yeah, there's a name for this: Sugar Sag. The signs are exactly what you'd think: premature wrinkles, your skin losing its firmness, maybe some sagging around the jawline, and even a rougher texture. This isn't just some surface issue. It's the very structure of your skin getting damaged from the inside out.
Now, here's the really important, kind of scary part. Once this damage is done, it's pretty much permanent. You can't really reverse it, but you can stop it from happening in the first place. A 14-day break from stuff like bread basically starves this whole glycation process. You slam the brakes on creating new AGs, and you protect the healthy collagen you still have.
All right, we've gone through the science, the depuffing, the acne, the anti-aging stuff, so let's put it all together into a timeline. What can you actually expect to see happen over these 2 weeks? Okay, here's how it usually plays out. Days 1 to 3, that's where you see the rapid depuffing. Your facial contours, your jawline, they just start to look sharper as that water weight leaves. Then, around days 4 to 6, as your insulin levels even out, you'll probably notice your skin is just less greasy. By days 7 to 10, the inflammation really starts to calm down. Redness fades, and you're getting fewer new breakouts. And then, as you cross the finish line at day 14, that restored hormonal balance usually leaves you with a brighter, smoother-looking complexion. Now, let me be super clear about something. This isn't about saying bread is evil and you can never eat it again. Not at all. Think of this as a 2-week experiment. It's about giving you the knowledge and the power to see for yourself how your body reacts. It's about understanding the cause and effect. And hey, if you try this and you love the results, it's not about restriction. It's about making smarter swaps. So instead of white bread, maybe you try a real whole grain sourdough. Instead of white rice or pasta, maybe cauliflower rice or lentils. And of course, instead of sugary drinks, just sticking with water or green tea. It's all about achieving that same goal, keeping your blood sugar steady and your hormones happy. So I'll just leave you with this one question. What could 14 days teach you about your body? It's not a long time, but the changes you might see in the mirror could tell you a whole lot about the powerful link between what you eat and how you look. And what you learn just might change how you think about food for good.